Good afternoon. Yes, making sure I'm connected. Hi, and welcome to my daily broadcast. My name is Barry Selby. This is Messages from the Masculine to Inspire the Feminine Heart, number 223. Let me introduce myself first by who I am, what I'm about. I am a relationship attraction expert, best-selling author and speaker, and help strong, successful women find balance in love, life, and business. I'm also a passionate champion for the divine feminine. So most of my talks are biased towards women and to having them get what they want, because that's my work in coaching and what I write about and what most of the broadcasts are about, which is why they're called Messages from the Masculine to Inspire the Feminine Heart. That's a clue, by the way. So today's talk just is a light-hearted one, I hope. We'll see. But basically, the intention is to inspire, share, suggest some things you may want to take to heart, ladies, for when you're out dating and choosing your next dates. Because a lot of you may not be seeking out my services as a coach, as a guide to help you get where you want to go and help you heal your heart. But at the same time, it's kind of like, let me give you some free advice, as it were, some my suggestions and ideas about, in this case, clues that may make your first date his last one. Meaning that these are some suggestions, ideas, and thoughts. And if you have any ideas as well, especially as I go through these, you want to add to the list, please put them in the comments below. But this is basically the idea about self-preservation. That's why I say it's for your heart. I know the title could be more eloquent, but the bottom line is that for many women out there who go on dates, they get blindsided months later, like several months into the relationship. Whereas if they had their wits about them on the first date, possibly, they would have said no then and saved them several months of, pain and suffering, and also being out of the dating arena, being able to find the right one or being in alignment or space to have what they really want. So let's start with some of the most obvious ones. I got so many showing up, I'm like, where do I start? So let me start with what comes up right away. The first one that came in before the rest came crowding in behind them is he might not be your ideal date if he spends the whole time talking about him. And that can be everything from how much he takes care of his diet, how much money he makes, the house he has, the car he drives, those sort of things. If he's making a list of all the things that he's got and what he's about, either he's selling himself to you, or more likely he's a narcissist. Well, actually, not necessarily a narcissist. I won't categorize him. Let's not categorize. That gets too psychological, and I'm not sorry I have the labeling accurate to be able to say that. But bottom line is that if he spends his time talking about himself and not asking about you, or listening to you, or being focused on you for some of the time at least, and I'll get to that. That'll be a second point, by the way. Then he may not be for you. The other extreme is he doesn't say a word about himself. If he's only asking about you and never expressing anything about his own views, about his own background, some response to a question you ask him, that's a big red flag too. So those two are two of the primary ones that can give you a clue right up front that maybe you want to walk away and not date this person. Okay? Another one that's a pretty obvious one that I've heard this talked about a lot, it's probably seen on social media quite a bit, is, of course, maybe because I'm noticing it, I notice that you may not see this one, so let me give this one to you, is there are some other clues and signposts, some of them so big it's almost like you can't avoid walking into them, that will help you. One of those is how he treats the help, meaning how he treats the wait staff, the bus boys, anybody like the shop staff, anybody who's in the service industry. It's very telling when anybody, to be honest, this works both ways, but actually I'm realizing, okay, maybe this topic's going to become for both genders, not just for men being challenged by bad dates and women having bad dates with men. Because I'm realizing that some of this stuff is really relevant on both sides of the conversation, so I may re-edit the title afterwards. If your first date person, I'm getting generic, is impolite, blind to and antagonistic, to the wait staff, to service people, to people who are there to help, you might want to walk away. No, let me phrase that. Walk away. That simple. Because someone who treats other people that way will treat you that way eventually. Yes, this is a red flag. Someone who treats those sort of people who are not equals to him or her, because again, it's for both sides of this conversation, may end up treating you will end up treating you less than them as well. So walk away. That's number 3. Number 4. Now this one is for the ladies, because this one is a particular aspect, is when your date, who's a man, doesn't treat you like a lady. Now this covers a whole gamut. This is like 17 sub-points, and let's cover a few of them. One of which is he doesn't open the door for you. Now some men have been trained by arrogant, masculine women that they don't need the help, so don't open the door for them. Well, you could retrain him. And it's going to sound silly at first, but there's a meaning to this. If the man you're going out with on the first date, well, actually, it's probably better if you've been out with him a few times, but certainly you can push it on the first date. You walk up to the restaurant, to the car, and you don't open the door yourself. You let him do it for you. And it might be a bit of an awkward moment when you stop and wait for him to open it for you. But the truth is, if you do that and he does open the door, and you thank him for that, you're actually going to educate him. And you get him to treat you that way too. This is a good thing. I've made mistakes in the past, so I'm just speaking from personal experience, even though doing that is natural in me. Once in a while I forget, and the woman I've been with has been very, most of the time has been willing to acknowledge and make sure I got the message like, oh, can you open the door for me? Which I did. So that's one part of it. Second part, sub-part, this is point number 4, part 2, and it's getting complicated. But in terms of the subtext about being a gentleman and respecting you like a lady, which could be a whole talk on its own, but I want to subordinate it into this conversation, is so open the door, helping you with a coat if you're in a climate where you wear a jacket or a coat, helping you take it on, helping you take it off, not pushing on you, not pushing on him, trying to make it happen, or ignoring you, but actually offering his support. Now, you may or may not want him to do that, so be polite and let him know that. Because he, if he's smart, is offering the help without forcing it on you. That's 2 of them. Third one is actually the third and fourth one are kind of more traditional ones, and not necessarily as overt. But let's see if we can try them on. If the guy you're with gets up out of his chair when you get up to leave the table, I'm talking about being in a restaurant type situation, or gets up when you come back from the bathroom. That's a rare one, and if you get that, that's a bonus, because most men don't do that. Even when they're gentlemen, they don't always remember to stand in respect for a woman leaving or coming back to the table. The fourth one, which I had in my head just a second ago. Oh, yes. This is from medieval times. That's how old this one goes. Is that the man walks on your outside. Meaning, if you're walking down the street from the restaurant to the car, or just going for a walk, on a sidewalk, he walks on the road side of you. It's actually from medieval times, and in some cities nowadays, it's better the other way around, just because you don't know who's going to jump out of which side, for protection. It's out of respect. Again, respect. So I'm going to give those. That's 4. I think there's any more. That's 4 subparts for that one. So item number 5 on the big list, as it were, of things I'm offering you, is ways you can tell this person's not a first date is, well, let me put it the other way around. Suggestions on finding out if this wants to be a second date or not is to come up with some questions you're willing to ask that are going to get the person to give you what you need as answers. And I don't mean how much money they make. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm speaking about is more psychographic data, as it were. Psychographic data includes things like religious, spiritual background, political views, world views, things that might actually have an impact if you're somebody who has any inkling, concern, caring about what sort of person they are. Because if you are, for example, a feminine democratic supporter and your date is a right-wing, let's have push our phone and go, either a Tea Party member or something, or something even more extreme, being a fascist, it might be good to find that out on the first date. I mean, But on the other side, because I want to talk about this one, because this one came up in conversation earlier, is religious views are important too. I'm finding myself now getting clear that the sort of women I'm talking about my own personal dating arena or meeting women, it's vital for me now that I meet someone who has a spiritual context for their God relationship versus a religious one. Because my belief system is such, and my journey has been such, that I found my belief in spirit and in God is more inclusive and not through a certain avenue. So if my date is someone who believes it's got to be Jesus or it's got to be some Jehovah or somebody else to get me there, that isn't going to work for me. So for you, that may be true too. So just keep it on a list of things to be aware of when you're on your first date with this person to ask these questions. Again, this one is back to being the either or, either for men asking women or women asking men, because this works both ways. Let me cut to the chase for a moment, because I realize I want to get to the bottom line of this. There are many people who are single. Sorry, let me say that again. There are many people who are purported to be single, who are using dating apps, smartphone apps, to meet dates to go out. Some of them are very practiced in lying. This has happened a lot recently. I've heard it from a couple of friends, so this is why it's on my mind lately. So what I'm inviting you to do is to do your own homework about yourself and to choose, yes, your first dates wisely, and choose how you'll be at the first dates wisely as well. If you don't really care about your safety, boundaries and other things too, because I have heard some pretty horrendous stories about, well, I'll put it in generic terms, verbal abuse, stalking, how to say this, false appearance before their friends, where this person came into their life and basically bad-mouthed them to all her friends. Wasn't cool. So those sort of things can happen. So I'm saying to you, if you're watching this and you're exploring the dating arena, that have your wits around you. Now, one of the biggest things that women forget, and it's so obvious in some ways for me now, looking back, is that women, you have a gift that we men have been practicing but not as good as you at, which is intuition. Yes, that wonderful thing called intuition. When you go on your first date, ladies, take it with you. Put it in your purse. Keep it with you. Don't throw it. Don't leave it at home in the house. Intuition is one of your biggest gifts and one of your biggest guidance systems to really discern what lines up for you. The challenge with this, for women especially, although it's true for men to a degree as well, is that when you go on dates, you build a romantic fantasy into your awareness that overrides your natural intuition, your red flag warnings, and all those different things. And so the trap you fall into is you'll actually override and ignore your intuition because you'd rather hope this could be the right one. Let me say this to be clear. If this person is going to be a good choice for dates, future dates, and maybe the one for you to be in a relationship with, I guarantee you, your intuition will tell you. If you get any, take your intuition with you, as I said, if you get any sense, a clunk inside, a warning, a disturbance of the force sort of thing, respond to that. Listen to that. Your inner guidance won't fail you. Especially if you practice listening to it and you find a way of getting in alignment with it, so that way you know your intuition is working. I think that works. This is a short list, by the way. This is just an overview to give you some thoughts and hints and ideas about being out on dates and how to do that the healthiest way. So, as I said before and earlier, I do invite you to put your comments and questions below. If you have any ideas and thoughts as well to add to that list about what it is that you would consider as deal breakers on first dates or suggestions for first dates. And again, this list I've given you basically does really apply mostly to both men and women first dates. Some of them are specifically for women from their dates, and some of those were clues to men how to be on first dates too. So everybody wins. So this is number 223 in my daily Facebook Lives. Yes, 223. This one is slightly different tack that I've been doing recently, but I wanted to put it out there. It's a new year and new things are happening. And this is my work. I'm supporting you, particularly women, in having what you want in life and love. If you have any questions or thoughts, please put them in the comments below. If you want support, please reach out to me with social media. I am rearranging, but right now, if you want to find my broadcast on my website under the video blog, but I'm actually rearranging that to be more viewable, because right now I've got 222 plus this one, 223 Facebook Lives sitting on one page. YouTube versions on one page on the website. That's a lot of data to load, so it's not easy to see. So I invite you to go look at them on my business page on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, which is Barry Selby, because they're easy to find that way. If you want help, you can go check out my website and get help there, and which is barryselby.com. And I think that's about it. If you have any questions, comments, again, please put them below, and I'm here to support you and invite you to take care of yourself. This is a new year, a new beginning for many people. That's why I've been offering some new gifts, new programs, and new support. But the biggest thing I want to say to you is this is a new year. Make it a good one for you. Take care of yourself, love yourself, appreciate who you are, and choose wisely. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.